Hey, what's up guys? I'm Biz and I am in the beautiful Carpathian Mountains of Ukraine. This is an amazing side of Ukraine. It's a safe side of Ukraine right now. And there is a dream inside of me, and I believe it's probably from the Lord, and I don't want it to die because it's not my dream. It's a dream that I discovered was taking place in the middle of the Carpathian Mountains a few years ago before I even had gotten here. You see, there's this church, this Baptist church, that was building another level onto their church so that they could have a bunkhouse for soldiers. They wanted to see soldiers come from the east and find a respite, a rehabilitation center on the safer side of Ukraine, a place of great beauty, a place of mountains, a place where you can go find mushrooms for food, a place where there's motorcycles and even paragliders and snow skiing and not far from here. I mean, this is just an amazing place in Ukraine. One of the most beautiful places, maybe even in Europe, and it's a small village. And I love it when people begin to dream, especially these small churches out here in places like this. And so they began to build onto their church, the second level, ran out of finances due to the war, due to other circumstances, but they still had the dream. And many of you have given to that dream. And now more construction's been done and it's beginning to take shape. And God's beginning to do some great things. The sheetrock is going up, the rooms are separated, the heaters are installed, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done to get this rehabilitation center finished. And so, hey, I just wanted to let you know about this dream, and if God somehow puts it on your heart to keep this dream moving forward, I really don't want to let this dream die, because this is an awesome concept that these people have, and you can see it right here. Here's their church. And right here, that second level is their rehabilitation center. So that whole thing right there is a bunkhouse. That's going to be where the soldiers will come and sleep. About 20 soldiers will be able to stay there. And they even decided to make a room on the top where they could meet with one another, and where they could also have a small room in the back where a counselor could come and have more of a one-on-one engagement with these soldiers that have been through the thick of battle, have seen things that we can't even imagine except what we've seen on some movies. And this is a place to help them find not only respite, but also come in close contact with Jesus right here in the church, and come into a place of hopefully beginning a process of rehabilitation. There is a service going on, but it's not just any service. There are some trained facilitators that are here to train people how to be a facilitator for traumatized victims. That would be soldiers, refugees, war victims, actually about anybody in Ukraine that's had some trauma over this whole war. And so the goal is, though, that some of those people, which are church members from this church, will become facilitators, trauma facilitators for soldiers that come in. Now, we thought we were only going to have about around 10, maybe 12, 12 disciples being trained to become trauma facilitators, but there's actually about 22 people that have showed up for this to become facilitators for those that have gone through trauma. So let's take a peek inside and just kind of see what's happening.
А він міг як цар це зробити, як закону, як людина, яка, скажімо, виконавча влада.
So I'm super excited about what God is doing in there, getting these people trained to become facilitators for trauma victims. And that is happening because so many of you have donated to this Ukraine endeavor. And I'm thankful that you have given to this. That training is being funded completely by Unusual Soldiers. Now let's go see what's happening up here. Let's see the progress that they've made and see what needs to be done yet. All right, I'll leave this door open, I think. Get some sunlight in here. Okay, so here we are. They have done quite a bit if you're to compare this video to the one I made previously. I mean, we got multiple rooms set up here, quite a few bedrooms. They said it's enough to house 20 people. They have a kitchen right. They have a kitchen right here, which is pretty awesome. I did not even know they'd have a kitchen. I thought they'd use the kitchen in a church. So I love that they're making this space, completely for the soldiers, kind of a place for them to be away from everything, kind of their own personal space. Here's a bathroom, shower house. So they're including that in this bunkhouse as well. And then again, multiple bedrooms. All right, now this wasn't, I don't think, in the original plan, but they decided to make the attic space a whole other room, and it's pretty cool. For some reason, when you're a little kid, you always want to check out the attic, and evidently, I haven't grown up much because I still love spaces like this, where people convert kind of hidden rooms to cool locations. So check this out. So you can see here, this is a meeting room, a room where they're going to meet at. A room where they can kind of congregate and hang out together. I'm sure there'll be chairs on both sides. And again, imagine like 20 guys sitting around this. And then there's a facilitator who's taking them through some kind of trauma counseling, helping them process what they've seen, what they've gone through, and pointing them to the Lord. I can only imagine the stories that are going to come from just this chair, whoever's sitting in this chair. A soldier from the front line, most likely, sitting there, explaining his heart, sharing that maybe he's angry with God. Why did this happen? Where was God when the invasion happened? Why am I separated from my family? I don't understand. Why was I drafted? I never wanted to go to war. Why have I seen so many people die? So many of my friends. What do I do with this guilt that I carry? Because I've killed other people. There's going to be so many things shared in here. A lot of private conversations right here in this room as people begin to process their life. And I imagine there's going to be a lot of wrestling that takes place. But beginning to get open about your story is one of the first parts of healing. So there'll be a lot of deep conversations taking place here. A lot of deep spiritual conversations. Conversations that are pretty tough. And maybe conversations where it's hard to find the answers. But we pray that this will be the beginning where many people begin to be healed of this trauma in this beautiful church, in this beautiful location, as facilitators listen to their story and begin to ask them questions, and also begin to hopefully give them a glimpse of hope in Jesus and a taste of healing by getting their hearts open with one another, processing that stuff. We're praying that God will do great things right here in the middle of the Carpathian Mountains. One of the hardest things about my job, honestly, is trying to do some kind of crazy sales pitch and asking for money. It's not my DNA. In fact, I never wanted to do that. But when God begins to give you a vision, you want to share it with people. And you know what? I want to see this thing come to completion. I don't know how much it's going to cost, honestly, to finish this thing. But I am thankful that we've had a gift recently given. A little bit over $5,000 that's going to be going into getting this thing restored. And I think it's probably going to take another $5,000 to really make good progress, because they got to fill it up with beds and everything else. And so, hey, if that's you, if God's speaking to your heart, hey, I want to help Biz and Unusual Soldiers finish that rehabilitation house. And I would just appreciate it if you prayed about it. And if God's really putting it in your heart, go check out restorethesoldier.com, and you should be able to find a button there where you can donate directly to this Ukrainian endeavor to get this restoration house built.